Hey everyone and welcome to the 6th Ranger. Today we are looking at a full history of the original Red Power Ranger, Jason, and what exactly happened to him after he left the team. Before becoming a Power Ranger, Jason Lee Scott was already a talented martial artist who enjoyed teaching others. Like his fellow future Power Rangers, he grew up and lived in the city of Angel Grove and attended Angel Grove High School. Jason taught martial arts classes at Ernie's Juice Bar and Gym, a place that Jason and his friends liked to work out and hang out in. One fateful day though, as Jason finished conducting one of his classes and was chatting with his best friends Zach, Billy, Trini and Kimberly, an earthquake began across Angel Grove. As Ernie's emptied out, Jason and his friends felt themselves being lifted and teleported along in streams of coloured lights. They landed in a pile on top of each other in a strange place. As Jason and the others examined their surroundings, a robot by the name of Alpha 5 approached them. As Jason was taking this all in, an even more strange sight awaited him. In an energy tube of blue light was a huge floating head who introduced himself as Zordon, and explained that Jason and the others had been chosen by him to fight evil in the form of Rita Repulsa. In order to do so, Zordon said that he would grant the 5 teens the power to become a fighting force known as the Power Rangers. The then further explanation of dinosaur Zords and Power Morphers threw Zach and the others off, except for Jason. As Zach was leading the group out, Jason lingered. He was a natural born leader, and the idea of him being some sort of modern day hero appealed to him greatly. Very reluctantly, Jason followed his friends out of the command center.
This is just too weird for me. I tell you what, it's been real, but I gotta go.
Yeah, see ya.
Y'all coming? Jason,
What?
let's go, man.
Yeah.
Once outside the building, Jason tried to persuade the others that maybe they should give this a shot. They didn't get too far. Before Jason's eyes, a group of very strange beings were standing before him and the others. The beings were putties, Rita's evil henchmen. At first, Jason and the others fought with all their might, but they were swiftly defeated, realizing they did not have the strength to defeat the putties. Jason encouraged everyone to use their power morphers. Jason morphed into the red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger for the first time. With these new powers, Jason and the other Rangers made quick work of the putties. When Rita unleashed her second-in-command, Goldar, on Angel Grove, Jason led the other Power Rangers in summoning their Zords and combining them into the Megazord, which they used to successfully force Goldar into retreating. Elated with their victory, the group went back to the command center. Unable to suppress the grin on his face, Jason quickly told Zordon that he was more than willing to continue defending the world from evil. Thus, Jason became the leader of the Power Rangers and a formidable force of good against evil. As a Ranger, Jason's most defining character trait is his desire to be a good leader. When anything goes wrong, Jason is the first of the team to attempt to correct it. Whenever anyone is in danger, Jason is always the first to rally the other Rangers to save them. In Green with Evil, Jason was the only Ranger who refused to give up when Rita and the Green Ranger seemed to gain the upper hand. However, his most defining characteristic is also his greatest weakness, much more so than any other Red Ranger that has come since. Jason will beat himself up over and over again at the slightest failure. For years he blamed himself for allowing Tommy to lose his Green Ranger powers. In the episode Missing Green, when his best friend Zach tried to explain that it wasn't his fault, Jason would have none of it, insisting that he should have done something. This self-blame continued all the way into Zeo, where he at one point stated that he let down Tommy once before, referencing his failure to retrieve the green candle that zapped Tommy's powers, and he would not let it happen again. So after the actual arrival of Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger, which is a story for another video if you guys are interested, Jason was constantly trying to upstage Tommy, especially on the karate mat. Neither wanted to cooperate with the other. Luckily, after Zordon sent them on a mission together, they realized that they could accomplish so much more by trusting each other and working together, and they became great friends from then on. The arrival of a new evil, Lord Zed, proved to provide the Rangers with much tougher battles, and it was not much longer before Tommy Lee eventually lost his powers when Lord Zed used special candles to drain the power of the Rangers. Jason was able to save the power of all of his friends, except for Tommy. Jason blamed himself for the team losing the strength of the Green Ranger, and for one of his best friends losing his powers. Eventually, Tommy wrote a letter to Jason, explaining that it was not his fault, and he did not blame him for what happened. With this burden lifted from his shoulders, Jason was able to continue leading his team into their various battles. He was also able to win a martial arts competition called the Golden Pipe Tournament, and he dedicated his new trophy to Tommy. Soon after, Zordon and Alpha created a new Ranger to help fight against Lord Zedd's more powerful monsters. Much to Jason's surprise and happiness, it was Tommy. Tommy was the White Ranger and the new leader of the Power Rangers. Jason very graciously let the mantle of leadership go from his shoulders and onto Tommy's, becoming the new second in command. Things were changing for the original team. A peace conference was coming up and 3 students from Angel Grove were to be selected. Much to his amazement, Jason, along with Zack and Trini, were selected to go. At first, they were not sure if they should go due to the Rangers' duties, but Zordon knew the trio would be a great help at the peace conference. Zordon selected 3 new Rangers in their place. They turned out to be Rocky, Adam, and Aisha, 3 new students who had assisted the Rangers in several missions. Jason's last mission was to go and get a sword that would allow his powers to be transferred. With Zordon's approval, Jason transferred his powers into Rocky, and with Zordon's blessing, Jason, Zack, and Trini left for the peace conference. Jason was not seen again then for years as he was helping out at the peace conferences around the world. Years later, during the Zeo years, when Trey of Triforia crash-landed on Aquitar, he was injured and split into his 3 forms of wisdom, courage, and heart. Because of this, he was unable to control the Gold Ranger powers, and could not again until these 3 forms were able to rejoin as one. And if the powers were not transferred temporarily during that time, the powers would be lost for good. Tommy considered Jason for the job, and later found Jason and brought him to the power chamber. Jason thus became the second Gold Zeo Ranger, wielding the Golden Power Staff. Unbeknownst at first to Jason, his successor, Rocky, had felt himself being left out and being replaced by the Ranger he replaced. When Rocky tried to take on King Mondo himself, Jason and the others came to help in time, and Jason assured Rocky that not only was he a valued teammate, he was Jason's friend. Later, Jason and the Rangers came to the realization that his powers were going away, along with his life, for the Gold Ranger's powers were meant for Triforian physiology, not human. As he tried to run from Cogs, his power was deteriorating as he wore himself out. Luckily for him, Zed and Rita confronted Mondo and his machine empire on sight, leading to a brawl between the two that gave Jason time to escape. He came to the juice bar and collapsed from exhaustion. He was taken to the power chamber where he was analysed. There, it was realised that if Trey did not return to normal and his powers were not reclaimed, they would be lost forever, taking Jason's life in the process. The Rangers took Jason to the site where the 3 Treys could reunite after a beam shot from Earth bounced onto Aquitar, Triforia, and then back to Earth. As Jason held up his staff, the powers were successfully reclaimed and Jason's life was saved. He later was saddened since he had to give up his powers. He was comforted by Tommy after contemplating on his own, which made Jason realise that there was more to life than just saving the world. He left the Power Rangers once more. So after Jason had been inactive as a Ranger for a few years, he was called on by his old friend Tommy once more, along with 8 other Red Rangers on Earth. The Rangers travelled to the Nasada headquarters, where they grouped together and were informed of their mission. Jason, however, was late. Tommy stated that he doubted Jason would even show up, but Cole Evans heard the sound of a motorcycle and saw Jason riding up on the bike. He joined the rest of the Red Rangers on the Astro Megaship Mark II, as they discussed the threat that the remnant of the Machine Empire posed. Jason remembered Lord Zedd's old Zord, Serpentera, since he had faced it before during his last mission as the Red Ranger, and he commented that if the Machine Empire obtained the Zord, it would have been enough power to destroy Earth. So the team travelled to the moon and were able to dock the megaship without detection. In battle, Jason displayed his Larson acrobatics and karate skill, demonstrated he still had the power within him. When all 10 Red Rangers were eventually lined up, Jason led them into their respective Morphin sequences, himself morphing into the Red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger once again. Once all 10 Rangers were ready for battle, they engaged in combat against the 5 generals, fighting 2 against 1. Jason and the newest Red Ranger at the time, Cole, fought against the enemy leader. Cole was beaten in the first sequence in combat, and Jason was able to interfere and knock back the general. He then showed off his prowess and experience, while referring to Cole as a rookie in the process. By easily overwhelming and nearly defeating the general, he then allowed Cole, the newbie, to finish off the enemy with a special attack. However, the enemy general was able to get away by fending off the veteran and rookie rangers with a blast and boarded Serpentera. He then took off with the Zord, preparing to leave the moon to destroy the Earth. Jason suggested that the team of Rangers return to the megaship to stop Serpentera, but one of the other Rangers knew that they had to stop the Zord before it left the moon. With this, Cole boarded his Wild Force Rider and was able to ultimately destroy Serpentera from inside. After the display, Jason admitted he was impressed by Cole's antics. The team was then able to return to Earth, where they said their goodbyes. After Cole stated that Tommy was the greatest Ranger ever, the other Red Rangers disagreed jokingly. Jason stated that he was the one doing all the work while Tommy had hit on Kimberly at the juice bar. The question of how Jason regained his powers for the Forever Red special has not actually been established, although one theory suggests that Jason supposedly got his powers back sometime after the events of Marvel Comics' Ninja Rangers Issue 3, Dark Thunder, in which Lord Zed created a second team of Dark Rangers. It was stated by one of the writers at the Power Morphicon that Jason took the Power Morpher from the defeated Dark Red Ranger and used this in Forever Red. However, other fans believe that Jason's old Morpher could have somehow been reactivated due to it never truly being lost, since he still kept his Morpher and Red Ranger costume when his power was transferred to Rocky by the Sword of Light. He also kept his old communicator, which he wears in Forever Red, though he isn't shown actually using it. It is believed that Jason's Power Morpher remains active after the events of Forever Red, much like the powers of the 5 veteran Rangers from the Once a Ranger episode, but this is not confirmed. Some speculation is made that Jason's original powers were merely copied and then transferred to Rocky as a spare, while Jason was able to keep his own Ranger powers independent from the Morphin Grid. If this is true, it would most likely mean that Zack and Trini also retained their range powers, after being replaced by Adam and Aisha. However, this theory would be somewhat debunked by the fact that Jason never used his Red Ranger powers during the time on Zeo, or during the events of the Turbo movie. Jason and the other Mighty Morphin Power Rangers actually returned as part of the army of the legendary Rangers led by Tommy that helped the Mega Rangers defeat the Armada once and for all, fighting in a huge battle against hundreds of X-Borgs and dozens of bruisers. When the Dino Charge Rangers, Ravi, Zoe, Nate and Steel were defeated by the army of villains on the Dino Charge's world, Devon was left trying to find a way to call for help. With the aid of a meteor that crashed into him and Cruz, he entered a Morph X tower and used the Morphin Grid to call for help. The meteor became the Tyrannosaurus Power Coin and brought in Jason. Learning of the situation and that one of the monsters was Goldar Maximus, he agreed to aid his junior in the fight. The two met up with the fallen Rangers, and after re-empowering them, Jason recruited the Dino Charge team to lead a full frontal assault while the Beast Morphers team attacked from behind. When Goldar Maximus and the rest of the army arrived, Jason summoned his old Mighty Morphin teammates and the Dino Rangers to defeat the army. When the enemy summoned his massive Chimera Zord, he joined in summoning the Megazord and aided in its defeat. With the enemy retreating, the teams departed, but Jason was more than proud to know that there would always be Rangers around to protect the world. Okay everyone, that is it. I really hope you enjoyed this video on the original Red Power Ranger, Jason. If you want more videos like this on other Rangers, then be sure to like this video and leave a comment down below letting us know who else you would like to see covered. Thanks for watching, may the power protect you all, and I will see you next time on the 6th Ranger.